It's a surprise.
It's moving. Good morning, students. We are back. I'm Lauren.
I'm not.
And she's not Lauren. That's what I call her.
Not Lauren.
Not Lauren, or sometimes I call her Michelle. And today we're covering season 5 of Real Housewives of Orange County.
The first half.
So from here on out, we've been doing a season and episode. We did one episode for season 1, one for season 2, etc., etc. For these next 13 seasons, we might need to break some of them in half because some of them are up to 22 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's just not doable for our sanity, for your sanity. You don't want to hear all that.
Yeah, especially our sanity. We only have 2 hands.
Exactly.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't do it all is what I'm trying to say. I can't mother, work, wife.
Yeah, one hand on the teeth, one hand on the baby, one hand on
my husband's penis,
one hand on my pocket, the other
one hand on my Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not Octomom.
Right. Octomom famously had 8 hands.
8 hands.
That's why she was called that, one for each baby.
And send us a message, folks, if you know when I say Octomom, if you know who I'm talking about.
People know Octomom is in the zeitgeist. It's like Tan Mom. No one will forget these iconic moms.
I would like to see a reality show with those 2.
Oh my God. Get those 2 together. Yeah.
Mothering.
Like, honestly, if Tan Mom, if she has hung in there still without dying of melanoma, like, she needs to be studied. Like, that's
well,
I
think her big problem was that she was tanning her, like, 3-year-old or something.
See, okay, maybe the children have forgotten Tan Mom because I don't remember Tan Baby. But
Tan toddler.
Tan toddler. Okay, so yeah, do you want to maybe cut this, but do you want to riff or do you want to get into the episode? The Orange County episode.
Yeah, let's get into the last episode and then we just riffed. Octomom, like, what else do you want from me, Lauren?
We just riffed plenty. Okay.
We have to have a certain number of minutes of riffing.
Yes.
Now.
Or riffing quota just for
Lauren's sister, Stacy.
Yes, for Stacy and for Jason. Although Stacy actually requested more personal stuff, I think, as opposed to Bravo riffing.
We've been pretty personal. I've talked to Stacy. Here's a shout out for you. Personal stuff about me. My daughter is autistic. I know I've discussed that. I've definitely discussed my sex life with my husband, my mental illness. What else do you want me to discuss, Stacy?
I would say none of those are anecdotes, but let's move on. Okay, so the new episode of Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18. I believe this was episode 6?
Oh my God, we're already on 6.
I know, it's really flying by.
We're blazing saddles.
We're blazing through it, baby. This episode was truly dizzying to me. Like,
bing bong, bing bong, bing bong.
Like, the fact that we have, like, these 2 new cast members, and one of whom is Jen, who was a replacement for another lady named Jen, who was also married to a Ryan, and she's married to Ryan, and then Katie's in the mix, too. It was like everyone was really blending together to me, and there were 2 separate trips in very similar-looking places, and I'm like, where are we? Who's who? What trip are we in? Are we in Elizabeth Vargas' house? Are we in Big Bear? I don't know.
And Alexis is here, and they're dressed like bears. Like, and by the way, I gotta say, 2 trips, and neither of them seemed fun at all.
No,
I didn't want to be on either of those trips. I had no wanderlust to go to Orange County or Big Bear.
Yeah, I'm not. If I had to choose, I guess I would choose Big Bear over Gina's rental property. Although it was Elizabeth Vargas' house.
It was like an amazing house, but I was also confused by her pool. So we'll get into that.
She's a confusing woman. Okay, so so we have Tamra, Alexis, Jen, and Katie in Big Bear, and we have Gina, Emily, Heather, and Shannon at former housewife Elizabeth Vargas's house, who was fired for being a pathological liar.
Yeah, and like she had real wealth, which I think is like, we don't do that on the OC anymore with the new girls.
Well, that's the thing. She was
They
lying about so many
don't.
things, they couldn't tell if she was
If she
rich
was
or not.
actually, yeah, but I think it is interesting that like new cast members on OC are not.
Katie's rich.
Oh, she is.
Katie, I watched the Instagram of how much did their outfits cost. This is Orange County, and Katie's stuff is all like, you know, Heather Dubrow level expensive, but she could
Oh,
be a Dorit and just, renting the runway. Who knows?
I have to tell you, I forget she's on the show.
She's not making an impact yet.
No,
Uh,
the stuff with Heather and the paparazzi is not an interesting storyline to me.
Even she feels like, and I think like everyone's hoping that Heather will kind of throw her a bone and destroy her. They're like, oh,
Mm.
Heather, she's gonna come for you. Ooh, R.I.P. Katie. Ooh, this is gonna be season you're demolished and people will remember you. Heather is just icing her out and punishing Gina for it. I mean, like,
Mm.
Katie is not even regretful. She's just kind of like, what do I do? No,
I
I
have a.
don't
I want to have a
know.
golf themed party. I don't know.
That's really like all of her confessional, her talking. I
Golf.
don't know. I don't know. Golf. I don't know.
I didn't get a hole in one with Heather.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
What are you talking about? And in other what are you talking about news, we see flashbacks, which I always enjoy, flashbacks from the dinner party last episode to open the episode, and it's, like Shannon freaking out. And then also Emily screaming at Jen for some reason.
Yeah, like yeah, like you need to sell your Rolex because you're poor and you can't pay your rent, so you can't be riding around town in wearing a Rolex. Like she's very focused. Emily
On
is
the
very
Rolex.
focused on the fact that Jen has a Rolex but can't pay her rent and doesn't, she's essentially, to Emily, fully destitute, and she needs to start pawning her shit off.
Yeah, which it's like, then later Emily's like, oh, I did notice it was a broken Rolex. So it's like, well, it's probably not that expensive.
Well, but did you see what Jen put on Instagram about it? Like on her stories, or she posted, so she has two Rolexes. Neither of them she paid for. Both of them Ryan paid for. And then I did not know this about a Rolex because, as we discussed last week, we don't have nice things and we don't understand them. But a Rolex runs on perpetual motion. So if you're not using it all of the time, it has to be rewound. That's why they can last a lifetime.
What an asset.
Okay, but also, like, what's perpetual motion?
Yes, exactly. That's so
like I'm not like Googling physics
that's esoteric.
For a luxury item. So I'll never have a nice car. I'll never understand a Rolex. I'm not gonna learn about perpetual motion.
Hell no.
Emily.
And also, like, your phone tells the time no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether you drop it in a toilet. Like, why would you want a $50,000 watch that you have to do this labor on?
Like, I think it's just like you have to move.
Oh, see, and that's way too much commitment for me.
Anyway, the point is, Emily is like, this dinner is like, Shannon, you're an alcoholic. Emily is like, Jen, start pawning your shit off, your gifts.
Yes, it's intense, and then Emily also like comes after Gina at the Vargas casa.
I don't understand the beef here. Where's the beef? What's the beef?
I kind of feel like Emily and Gina, to me, it feels like, it seems like they've like never cared that much that viewers don't like them. They just kind of do their thing. But this season, I think, like, now that Tamra's back, now that they've got two newbies, including Alexis, I think they're freaked out and they're just grasping for feuds is kind of what I'm feeling. And I think it's obscuring some of the meat of this.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turkey sandwiches that Emily likes. The meat.
The meat.
Yeah, I don't understand why Emily's mad at Gina. Especially because Gina doesn't understand why Emily's mad at her. What was her reasoning? Because she's so far up Tamra's ass or something like that?
I think Heather's ass.
I don't get it. Heather's ass. But then why does Emily care? Like, how is that affecting their friendship?
My other theory is that Gina and Emily have always been at the bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
And now that with new cast members, they have an opportunity to maybe move up one rung. And they're like willing, even though they're best friends, they're willing to like hit each other over the head to like move above Jen and Katie and like Alexis and kind of be in the middle for once,
Oh my God. It's It's so boring.
It's pretty boring. It's
It's
pretty
boring,
boring.
and it's like not even boring to the where it's like, okay, this is kind of a boring storyline.
It's
It's when that's
confusing.
confusing and it doesn't make any sense, especially in a season where there's a lot happening. And I wish that they would just be like, let's just hone in on all this other shit that's actually happening is interesting. But they're just like, like Emily's like, I don't like espresso martinis, and then now she's only ordering espresso martinis, but also doesn't like Heather, but Heather's the one who introduced her to that drink and is mad at Gina and going, it's just too much. I don't care,
Mhm.
Emily. Okay, I'm falling asleep.
Yes, Emily. Oh, this is the thing that I do
Emily.
not like. Emily. Sorry. This is what I don't like about this season. Is I feel like as much as I love paying homage to the classics, we're dipping a little too much into the motif well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Emily. There's like a storyline about her copying Heather's drink, even though she doesn't like her. That's the same as Gretchen copying
Yeah.
Vicky's drink, a dirty martini, and then Tamra. I am so disappointed in her this season that when she goes to Big Bear, not only does she copy Shannon by bringing out physical bear costumes
Mm-hmm.
and then never acknowledging it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of funny when Shannon did it because it was so dorky and like
Yeah,
it was like
cosplay.
cosplay, yeah, and like they were trying to scare people, but clearly it was just them creeping around in like drunk and bear suits. It was like, it was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But this was just like nothing. They're just in bear snuggies, and then she's
Yeah.
dipping into the Vanderpump Rules season 9 well
Oh, that's a bad well.
with the foot fetish picture content for the poor friend. That's
Yeah, she's like, let me just take pictures of your feet and get you on OnlyFans. Like, unless somebody wants to be a sex worker, you shouldn't just tell them this is how you can make a buck, sweetie.
also because now creeps can just pull that footage from the episode. Like, you're not going to be able to make money off of it unless Lisa Vanderpump is in on the plot and like buys the picture for Jen. But I don't think she's going to do that.
But also, like, I don't need any more housewives on OnlyFans with their feet. Like, I get it.
No.
That's Larsa's thing. Like, let's
Yes,
just all like, let's do
yeah.
something else.
Yes.
Yes, let's leave it up to Larsa
And
from Miami.
that's what's really worrying me about Tamra. I know there's so many people who just hate her and have always hated her because she's awful.
Yeah.
But like, I at first I was like, well, that's just Tamra. She's awful. But I'm like, now I'm starting to think maybe she is past her prime. Maybe she's losing her creativity.
What did I say? I know, and I said it
You
last
think-
week, and I said I think Danny, I think Andy is like a little done, like a
Over
little
it.
done, and also it's not even just like what she's doing on camera. It's like it's what she's doing on social media and like interviews lately. Like she's
Mhm.
shitting on everybody, and not
Everyone.
just Shannon. Like she's like shitting on Vicky, saying like you're never gonna get a Clementine back. Like she's shitting on housewives from other shows. Like it's not making any sense what Tamara is doing. Like you can come from a place of like I'm concerned about Shannon's drinking, and let's be very clear, I'm also concerned about
Same.
Shannon's drinking. It has been an issue the entire time she's been on the show. It's awful what she did. I would never condone what Shannon did. She drove drunk. You should never do that. She ran into somebody's house. Like it's an awful situation. She's dealing with that while being harassed by Jesus Jugs and her ex-boyfriend suing her.
Yeah.
And she's doing this on national TV. And so what Tamra could do, because they have been friends for so long, is say like, privately, or even you could do it on TV, but you don't have to say you're an alcoholic and then just deal with all of that. Like you could say like, I'm coming from a place of very real concern for you as my friend for 10 plus years. Your drinking's been an ongoing issue, and I don't like that you have a DUI and you're drinking again, and I want you to consider something else and get real help. The way that she's doing it, it just I feel like would make Shannon drink more.
Yes. So I think that
I'm drinking more.
I just watching. I think that we had a very astute comment on our TikTok. And it's one. A lot of them
the rest of
just
them
nasty.
Were pretty bad. Yeah, they're pretty awful.
A lot were just asked. This was astute. So there were a few. There were a few good ones. So they were like, Tamra, her plot line, it's not like she's really thinking about longevity or she's really thinking how the storyline will play out. She actually is not like, she just can't keep up with this new landscape of reality TV. She just thought, okay, if I go after Shannon, then I'll get the most camera time because Alexis is going after Shannon, but she's just a friend of. And if I'm just Shannon's friend, then it's Shannon's story. This way, I get the main story. I get Shannon's story. I'm her nemesis. And that's as far as she thought.
Do you know
It's
what
like,
it's giving shades of, though?
Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Jill Zarin.
Yes. Jill Zarin. It's so Jill Zarin.
Jill Zarin, famously season, whatever it was with her and Bethany's fallout, she really leaned into it. She was excited by the fallout, honestly, that her and Bethany were going to have this beef. She went to Andy. This is going to be great TV. And guess what happened? All of the viewers fucking sided with Bethany. Everyone hated Jill. Andy hated Jill. And she was gone. Like I mean, she wasn't gone immediately, but I think she could never recover from that. And she's like says to this day how much she regretted it. So, or just like the way that she handled everything, because she thought it would be really great TV. Oh, two former best friends fighting. And it's like, maybe we don't really want to see that. And the way that Tamra is doing it, I don't love.
Especially like
you might, but I don't love it.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I find it like random, uncreative, so clearly for so clearly an agenda. Especially because I usually am not the person who's like, they're being such a bad friend on these shows, because I'm like, these people are coworkers. Shannon actually has been on Tamra's side in her alliance, no matter what. So many times the women have tried to like turn it on Tamra, have like, tried to get Shannon on their side and be like, she said this, this, and this about you on camera, that you're an alcoholic. And Shannon won't turn on her. Yeah. And so the fact that Tamra is turning on her for basically no reason, for a little bit more camera time, for a story a little like more of an A story than a B story, is bizarre. And like, you just can't do. Tamra's lost her touch. I'm sorry, I think she's lost her touch.
Calling someone an alcoholic, like, you really don't come back. It's hard to come back from that, because that is such like a biting thing to say. It's like, I think you have a problem with drinking. I don't like your relationship with alcohol. Look, Tamra's not going to be the first housewife to ever say that on camera. Yeah. But saying you're an alcoholic, it's like, because we don't know. What Shannon
only the person who is an alcoholic can decide that.
And we're not gonna like. I didn't love it. But let's get back to
Wait, I have one more thing to say though. The Jill thing, I also think that's very insightful of you, because it's like, I think that Tamra is jealous that Shannon never got fired. And that's part of that's really what's underneath this.
Well, Shannon's always had really interesting storylines.
Shannon's the star.
And she's
the star
never
of the show.
had to, I will say this to Shannon's credit, she's never had to fake a storyline. She's never had to like really do anything for camera time. She's always getting sued by Jesus Jugs. She's always upset about something, and she's always hysterical.
Yeah. Like Vicky, like Tamra's never been the star. She's always been the villain. But Vicky, like this season that we're about to get into, season 5, Vicky actually tries not to fight with anyone, but she's still hilarious and iconic. Yeah. Tamra doesn't have anything other than feuds. Like nothing to offer on camera, because she's inauthentic.
Yeah, exactly. Like with Shannon, with Vicky, like when the really, really good housewives, Tamra in her prime, right? Like, I'm going to give this to Tamra. I still think Tamra is top
great,
tier.
but she's not the type of housewife. She's not our favorite type. Unstable.
Where it's like they're not doing something for the camera, right?
Yes, that's just who they are.
They are. The camera is down. Shannon's still screaming high pitched about lawsuits and David Bador and her daughters not wanting to live in the OC and John Jansen and Jesus. Like, it's always the same. Shannon. I think Vicky is the same tier. Like, I think if the cameras are on or off, she's probably the same. She's not going to put as many blankets on her head if she doesn't think she looks okay. But other than that, I don't think that Vicky is all that aware of the cameras all of the time, right? That's when you make the best TV. And not just like Housewives, like any reality TV is when you're
authenticity
really good on camera, because you're not acknowledging that they're there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tamra can't offer that. She brings it. She finds...
Not this season. She's done it. She's done it like the season we're going to cover, but
I think she's still scheming, and I don't think it's like she's a great schemer. She's great at like finding moments, making it happen, finding ways to amplify and like make a storyline out of what's underneath.
Right.
But like magnifying her feelings about things, but authenticity, no. Even in this story, even in this season, I think that is not her strong suit, but we'll get into it.
So let's finish this episode. So they go, okay, so back to this season 18, episode 6. So there's dueling, not banjos, dueling trips. And so some of the girls are in Big Bear, like Lauren said, and some are at Elizabeth Vargas's house that Gina is listing. It's a beautiful home. Okay, so here's the crazy thing is that this is the shit that I hate, where it's like this feels like very produced, where it's like we need something to do, so we're gonna go in this random place, this house, and stay the night at a house that's like a listing, and it's like Gina tells Heather, I know that you really like hot dogs, so I'm gonna make you hot dogs. But then Heather brings her own mini grill to this insanely palatial mansion, which is bananas. Not the fucking bringing the tiny grill. What? There's too many things happening that are feeling a little circusy to me. One, why is Emily driving a huge pickup truck? When did she ever get this car? She's driving a massive like monster truck to Elizabeth's house. 2, in the back seat of a truck sit Shannon Bedore and Heather Dubrow. Heather with a tiny gas grill or charcoal grill in her lap on the way to Elizabeth's. Okay. And then it's like they don't know how to start a grill. Like, I don't know what's happening. They get to Elizabeth's house to cook these hot dogs. Okay, this is the part that I was like, what is actually going on? This is like so insane. And it might be one of the top 5 things I remember about this season. And it's Elizabeth's pool. Her swimming pool is not a regular swimming pool because inside of the pool are koi fish. Why? Why is it so big? Is it just a pond for the koi or is it a swimming pool? Because I didn't see another swimming pool. So I think it just is a swimming pool but has fish in it.
I kind of live to be one with the koi. Like,
it's weird. Like, it's like, I don't know how you like put chlorine and stuff in it. I'm a pool owner. It's a lot of, how do you clean that? It's like a massive. Do they like salt water, those koi?
I don't know.
Anyway, they were like, oh, what a beautiful, it's like an infinity pool though. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, I'm like, how do they not go off the edge?
It's an infinity pool. There's literally an edge and then it's a cliff and they're like, oh, look, it's like koi ponds. It's all like, it's filled with all these koi, which are very expensive. But I'm like, I wouldn't want to buy this home with all these fish.
I mean, Elizabeth Vargas is
and but here's the thing, no one talks about it. They're like, oh, cute fish. And like, no one's like, this is like kind of weird, Elizabeth. How do you list this, Gina?
Yes, and like, we haven't even seen Elizabeth. That's frustrating too.
No, like, and then she's just gone quickly. She's like, here's my house. Have a fun sleepover, girls.
Not enough Vargas for me. Although she is a dangerous QAnon believer. But like, that, I think we talked about it like last episode that we're like, oh, it's kind of charming that there's so much happening that, you know, Gina and like Shannon are randomly in bad Sandy outfits and we never know. But then it's like, it happened way too much this episode. We just needed more context because I was getting dizzy. I was getting lost. Like,
look at my hair. No, it was just too much. I was like, okay, like, here's the koi, and then it's like, we're never going to talk about it. And like, when did Tamra get a house in Big Bear? Like, I've never seen this home.
That was wild too, where it's like, it suddenly was as if she always had.
And okay, they're in this beautiful ski resort and none of them are going skiing. They're sledding.
Yeah.
They don't go to a restaurant, do they? I mean, I don't think they do anything except, you know, listen to Jesus Jugs talk about blackmail.
Yeah, and like show her gooch to Johnny J on the phone.
Okay, so let's just like get into this. It's getting a little, it's getting fucking
spooky.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's
like, it's now we've encroached like some really spooky, scary territory here where Alexis, Jesus Jugs, whatever you want to call her, whatever rebrand we're on, is threatening blackmail on national television.
Yeah.
Which is not legal.
And it's like, also, it's illegal, a crime of television, because I'm like, don't keep telling me about it if you're not gonna show me, bitch. Like,
show me. Yeah.
Like, so, what is it?
So what so it's like, Jesus Jugs, Alexis has these recordings from John's Ring camera. I guess he had, you know, a Ring camera outside and, you know, security cameras inside of his home. And he has recordings of Janet, who the fuck is Janet? Shannon, damn it, Janet. That's a reference to something else.
Damn it, Shannon, I love you.
Touch me.
That's so Shannon coded.
That's or Alexis to Johnny J. Touch me. Anyway, yeah. So why does Alexis have these videos on her phone? She has videos apparently of Shannon doing very questionable things. I guess especially the night of her DUI, she's probably very intoxicated. These are like life damaging, like career ending recordings, which like.
What could be worse than what we know, which is she drove drunk, got Archie out of the car, and pretended to be walking him.
And ran into somebody's home. She's like, the cops show up and she's walking around like, I'm just walking my dog at 3 a.m. drunk. And I know I didn't see officer who drove that car into that house. That is the car that is registered to me.
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning. Yeah, my dog had to pee. Listen, I can imagine.
What could be worse?
But why does he have this? This is what I don't understand. Why does he have this stuff in his possession? And then why does Alexis have this stuff in her possession? That's the thing. It's like everything now is being shared with Alexis, and she's being his like mouthpiece, and I don't love it. And we're gonna talk about like what she does this season 5, which is her first season on the Housewives. I don't like this with Alexis, and she does this. She did it with Jim, and now she's doing it with Johnny J, which she's doing their kind of like dirty work for them. And it is true, both lawsuits Shannon has ever had in her life has been with the person that Alexis is with, right?
It's true. Yeah.
It's weird. And did you see that Shannon said that she did offer to pay John back the $75,000 and he declined it, and he said no.
Wow.
And he wanted it, and he was like, I'm going to file suit against you instead, which is a lot more. That's going to cost him more than $75,000 anyway, having these attorneys, because he wanted to have punitive damages on top of the $75,000 for like pain and suffering or something that Shannon did. I mean, it's just so fucking crazy. But I don't like it. I didn't like it with the bank transactions that Alexis brought up to dinner, and I can show you these transactions. And that's kind of like, that's weird, but it's not okay, fine. Like Shannon, and I love the mess, but like Shannon still has like children, even if they're grown. And like
Jen said, Jen was like, what do we do? Like, have you not thought about her family?
And like I don't know what that releasing the recordings does. I don't know how that makes John or Alexis look better. They look insane. And that's also Alexis's like excuse for doing this sort of thing, because she's like, she is bad-mouthing everybody in John's community. Shannon's bad-mouthing his whole community. He's like a pariah.
Community?
But it's like,
his only friend is Alexis.
But it's like, what is she even saying about John? That he's suing her? That is true. That he's like, he's showing up at the gym that she showed him with his new girlfriend. That's also true.
You know what I think it is? And this is actually, they're taking a page from the playbook from season 5, which is Gretchen is not strong enough to fight her own battles, so she gets with Slade to do it for her. I think John, even though he was terrible on the show and boring and rarely on camera, I think everyone would talk about how he was just dating Shannon to be on camera. He loved being on camera. Also, Shannon, they said that off the show, Shannon would talk about how badly he treated her. She would never bring it up on camera. Yeah, she would get really
drunk, and she would talk about what an asshole he is. And it also does speak about John that every single one of the housewives also agrees that he's not a good person. And they have met him not just with Shannon, right? So they have been around this person. I mean, obviously, mostly when Shannon was with him, but like they could tell that he's not a good person.
Right. And but see, the weird thing is for him to be so hurt and embarrassed about this. I think he's very about his image. It's like, he pretty much got off easy. Like, Shannon never talked bad about him, like, during a season. Like, she would tell other girls things and they would try to make it part, and she would be like, no, because she was so scared he would leave her. And so it's like,
no, I don't he's my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. Yeah.
So why is he so pissed and feels like she made him look like such an asshole that he has to like send someone in on camera to like defend his honor? It's like he's blowing it so far out of proportion.
Screenshots and recordings. It's really weird because he's like 60. It's weird. I don't like it.
He's
but
a
I
slave.
kind of like
He's
it.
one of many
He's
slaves.
but this is pretty gnarly stuff. Like the bank transactions, fine, he paid for your pay slip, whatever. But also don't sue her because of it. But also, let's not talk about like recordings that no one's ever gonna see. And like
Do you think she took a dump? Like, what could it be? What could it
I
be
think
that's worse?
she's probably just really
She's
intoxicated
probably just
and
like, "Look,
saying
man," you know?
she's probably just saying like pretty fucked up things that you say when you're intoxicated and also in a very toxic relationship, which she had with John. And she obviously wasn't in a good place, but I don't think she should be exploited because of that.
No, and it's like, I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm like, she is holding back all of
Yeah.
her stories about him that are really
Yeah.
gnarly, and the fact that it's like, why did they start this war? I mean, obviously it's for camera time,
For
but it's like
camera,
it also seems like it's gonna make them look worse. Like, why not just peace? So many people will die, like, and no one will win. I mean,
no,
Shannon
it's
will
like,
always win. She's the queen
yeah,
of misery.
I
Like,
know she is. She really is. Like, I don't see her being dethroned there anytime soon.
no,
Like,
no.
Jen is pretty down in the dumps, but like not even
She's the
close.
princess of
Yeah,
misery. I'm
yeah.
so excited though. I'm so ready for us to get into Ryan's fraud case. Like, that's gonna happen on camera. I'm like, let's get there. No more Heather Dubrow paparazzi. Let's get
I
to the
know,
fraud.
Katie. Let's get to it, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, and then the episode just kind of ends with Alexis talking about like she doesn't want us to release these recordings, like
Even
it'll
copying Shannon
destroy
there.
her life. It's
Even
like
copying Shannon. You will all know the truth.
you will all see the fucking truth. Yeah, Alexis, like I don't know, and it's just so hard because I really liked her season 5. It's hard to see her this way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I do really
season
like
5
her,
is
but
her
it's like
strongest season. Season
I
5
need
is
her
by
to
far.
yeah, I need her to like dump John Jansen at this point and like get rid of all the screenshots and the recordings and the promise ring he gave you.
I think she might at the reunion. Like, unless, I mean, it depends. I think if like Tamra and Heather have really cozied up to her regardless, it seems like from their off-camera interviews.
Yeah.
So it's like she probably has an orange no matter what. But
Mm.
if somehow Shannon got a wedge between her and the rest of the cast, the way it's looking like on the season so far, then I think Alexis would have to dump him to come back next season. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
See. I mean,
I'm interested to see.
I don't know if I want another season of Alexis like talking about screenshots.
We can't.
I can't do it. I can't. I cannot take it.
And I think that she will, have to choose.
Yeah, and obviously, like I mean, well, not obviously, but I mean, it's like stop having like Alexis shouldn't be doing this stuff. She should just be inviting John Jansen to these parties, and he can just talk shit. But Alexis doesn't need to be doing that for him.
Yeah,
and that would be very entertaining to me.
It's tough because she's friend of, so it's like she's only coming to group gatherings, and it's all women, and she can't just like.
She can't just be like,
John,
"Hi, how are the kids?"
Johnny.
That's true. Here's Johnny. Here's Johnny.
The Shannoning.
Yeah. Oh my God. Seriously. Oh my God. All work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy.
Someone make that trailer.
I know, but it does feel Shannon feels very like Carrie coded too. Oh, also like I feel like she's about to get like blood dumped on her head. Actually, metaphorically, that's what John Jansen and Alexis have been doing to this
trying
woman.
to dump pig's blood on her.
Pig's blood on her, and she's like, "I made this dress."
I can't wait for her to burn it all down, baby.